From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. Good evening, I'm Sharon Mascarenhas.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minupurarachi. And now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. A new methodology to quarantine close associates of corona patients. EZ score marks for university admissions have been declared. Higher education opportunities, 9,000 more students at this time. A program to uplift rural economy to commence from Anuradhapura tomorrow. The US State Secretary is to arrive in the island tomorrow.
On to the stories now in detail, starting off with local news. The National Operational Centre to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 says that a decision has been taken to quarantine closest associates of the COVID-19 patients in their residences itself, according to a new methodology. Head of the centre and Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says that a new procedure is also to be adopted in transporting the associates to the quarantine centres. Clusters of the Minuwangoda and Paliagoda have been identified speedily. However, due to the strong strength of the virus, the number of infected patients has increased. As a result, a new method has to be introduced to deal with the situation. Accordingly, the new method is being implemented with the effect from today in Matakule and Samitipure in Colombo. The Army says 165 persons in 34 houses are undergoing quarantine. The Army and the police jointly provide security to the houses. The State Intelligence Service and the health authorities have been taking prompt measures to deal aggressively with any impending situation since the time the clusters were identified in March of this year. Another COVID-19 patient died yesterday, bringing the total number of COVID-related deaths in the island to 16. The deceased was a 70-year-old male resident in Colombo. He was admitted to the National Hospital due to complications of a germ entering the bloodstream. However, infection of the virus has intensified his condition, leading to death. The funeral took place according to international quarantine regulations at the General Cemetery, Borala, today. 10 COVID-19 patients have been reported from the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital yesterday and today. They included 7 children and 3 mothers receiving treatment at the hospital. COVID-19 patients detected from the Hatton and Ambagamo Divisional Secretariat divisions were directed to treatment centres yesterday. The associates of these patients were residents in Hatton Town. 133 such residents in Hatton Town and 41 residents in Ginigathena as well as several residents in Bhagavantalava and Maskalia were subjected to self-quarantine. 56 persons out of this number were subjected to PCR tests yesterday. Meanwhile, 8 persons in several villages of the Yovita Medical Officers of Health have also contracted the COVID-19 disease. It is also reported that 7 of them have recently visited the Paliagoda fish market. The other person was an associate of these patients. As a result, the Gramanildari divisions of the Yovita, Alathalduva, Pahalathalduva, Appalapitiya and Thimbiripola have also been isolated until further notice. The doctor who had treated 2 police officials at the Koskoda police station was also infected with COVID-19. As a result, officials of the police station were quarantined. A police officer attached to the cafeteria of the Mirihana police station was also confronted with the COVID-19 disease. He also purchased fish from the Paliagoda fish market. The Kurunagala main district court and the additional district courts were temporarily closed. The Trincomalee Common Market Complex has also been temporarily closed due to the effect from today. The Physiological and Mental Rehabilitation Unit of the Ampara General Hospital has been renovated as a centre for COVID-19 patients with the facilities of around 100 patients. The bus stand at the Manning Market and the Central Bus Stand in Gunasingapura and the Bastianpura Bus Stand in Petta Police Divisional were sterilised today by the police and the Sri Lanka Petroleum Storage Terminal. The Parliamentary Complex was also scheduled to be sterilised today and tomorrow. It has been established that an official affiliated to the police division of the Parliament was also afflicted with the COVID-19 disease. The parliamentary session is scheduled to resume on the 28th of this month.
Quarantine curfew is now being enforced in 64 police divisions in the island. It will be implemented until further notice. People in the Gampaha district have been allowed the opportunity to purchase essential goods today despite imposition of quarantine curfew in the district. Accordingly, shops, state and private banks remained open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. A national television crew has observed that many people were adhering to proper health guidelines in spite some were behaving in an unsecured manner. Curfew is being implemented in 19 police divisions in the Colombo district. Quarantine curfew have also been implemented in the police divisions of Koliyapitiya, Pannala, Naramala and Dumala Surya. 152 persons have been arrested by the police on charges of violating the curfew with the past 24 hours. 16 vehicles were also apprehended during this period. Our correspondent says that the majority of the general public were acting with responsibility. A betting centre in Tangala town was closed down today. The decision has been taken on the instructions of the Tangala Medical Officer of Health due to the prevalence of a threat of the spread of COVID-19 disease. The decision is closed down to centres were taken to the 21st of this month. However, owner of the centre has taken measures to reopen the centre on the evening of 21st itself. The matter was discussed at the session of the Tangala Urban Council today, and the decision was taken to close down the business placed immediately on the instructions of the chairman of the council. The Chelo Municipal Council had decided to close down the main fish and vegetable markets in Chelo down to a period of 7 days starting from tomorrow. The decision has been taken following a meeting at the Municipal Council. Fishermen have been granted permission to engage in fishing. However, they have been ordered to sell their daily produce in the Chelo beach. The Chelo Municipal Council has also decided to hand over a food bag valued at 2,500 rupees each of the families undergoing quarantine in Chelo town. The President's Office has decided to carry forward continuously the service being provided to general public even in the face of the COVID-19 expansion. However, the numbers of employees attending daily services have been restricted on the instructions of the health authorities. The general public are able to connect themselves with the public relations divisions of the President's Office, the Office of the Ombudsman and the President's Funds through the telephone numbers, fax numbers and email. The telephone numbers of the public relations divisions are 0114 354 550 or 0112 354 550. The fax number is 0112 348 855. The website address is publicaffairs@presidentsoffice.lk. Services of the Ombudsman Office could be obtained through the telephone numbers 0112 338 073 or from the email address ombudsman@presidentoffice.lk. The services of the President's Fund could be obtained through the phone numbers 0112 354 354 and 0112 331 and 243. The email address is fundsecretary@presidentoffice.lk.
Ambassador of Switzerland to Sri Lanka, Dominic Fergler, called on the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees today. Lengthy discussions were held on trade, tourism, investment and COVID-19 assistance during the meeting. Calling on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in Colombo this morning, Ambassador of Switzerland to Sri Lanka Dominic Fergler discussed a number of areas to further cooperation between the two countries, including investment, exports, tourism and fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. The ambassador commended the manner in which the government is responding to the coronavirus outbreak by publishing clear rules and enforcing them. Prime Minister Rajapaksa said that while lockdowns and health precautions can be difficult on everyone, sometimes it is necessary to keep people safe. Swiss Ambassador Fergler said that he admires the way Sri Lanka had dealt with the COVID-19 outbreak in the country, as he feels safer with the measures undertaken to ensure safety of the people. In contributing to the government's efforts to contain the outbreak, the Swiss government said to provide assistance to Sri Lanka with equipment which would enable faster PCR tests at the airport. This is also a part of a collaboration in an attempt to revive tourism to Sri Lanka once the situation improves. Towards that end, the Swiss government has also provided technical assistance to Sri Lanka Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management to upgrade infrastructure, provide training and develop the curriculum. The two delegations also discuss investments and exports. The economic development being a priority of the government, the ambassador said he will work on bringing in more Swiss investments. Switzerland is currently the 8th largest investor in Sri Lanka. With regard to exports, the delegations discuss ways in which Sri Lanka can further diversify export product range to Switzerland and to reap greater benefits from the Swiss GSP Plus facility. Currently, major exports from Sri Lanka to Switzerland include apparel, black tea, seafood and gems and jewellery.
And meanwhile, the U.S. State Secretary Mike Pompeo is expected to arrive in Sri Lanka tomorrow. U.S. Secretary Pompeo will travel to Colombo to underscore the commitment of the United States to a partnership with a strong, sovereign Sri Lanka and to advance our common goals for a free and open Indo-Pacific region. U.S. Secretary of the State Mike Pompeo and the Defense Secretary Mark T. Esper arrived in India on Monday for the third edition of the 2+2 ministerial dialogue, which is aimed at strengthening strategic ties in the face of growing Chinese influence across the region. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo landed in India today, the first leg of a 5-day Spain-Asian trip aimed at strengthening strategic ties in the face of growing Chinese influences across the region. U.S. Secretary Pompeo is due to meet India's Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar on this evening before he and U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper hold a joint summit with Jaishankar and Indian Defense Minister Ranjan Singh tomorrow. Later that day, U.S. Secretary Pompeo and Defense Secretary Esper will call in India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, according to a draft day of trip released by India's Foreign Ministry. U.S. Secretary Pompeo is due to travel to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, two Indian Ocean countries. China has financed and built various infrastructure to the alarm of India and the United States. U.S. Secretary Pompeo will end his trip will come to the final week before the U.S. presidential election in Indonesia, one of several Southeast Asian countries wary of growing Chinese activities in the disputed South China Sea. And the number of university recruits has been increased by nearly 9,000 under the normal administrative procedure on university selections this year. The number is to go up further with the inclusion of students admitted to additional and special discipline. This year's university admissions is regarded as the highest students intake of the history of university admissions in the country. The necessary set-core values for selection of university admissions based on the results of the GCE Advanced Level Examination 2019 were received today. According to statistics released by the University Grants Commission, 40,111 students have been selected for university admissions in the academic year 2019-2020 through the normal admission procedure. In the previous academic year, only 31,158 students were admitted to the universities. Accordingly, 8,953 more students were selected this year. Another special feature has been the significant increase in the number of students admitted to the faculties of medicine, engineering and management. 338,871 students had sat for the GCE Advanced Level Examination of 2019. Out of this number, 181,206 candidates had fulfilled basic qualifications for university admissions. The cut-off marks could be obtained from the website www.admission.ugc.az.lk.
The national program to uplift rural economy will begin from Anuradhapura tomorrow. The aim of the program is to develop rural economy in parallel with the national economic development. The main ceremony will take place at the auditorium of the North Central Provincial Council. The program is to be implemented under 4 main categories: Social Infrastructure Development Committee, Livelihood Development Committee, the Development Committee to Enhance Local Industries and the Rural Infrastructure Development Committee. The government hopes to implement the rural economic development programs on the districts and regional levels with the objective of creating coordination between ministries and districts. The program will come under the direct supervision of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Cabinet and state ministers will implement the program on the instructions of the Prime Minister's office.
And it has been decided that several former ministries had willfully neglected themselves in appearing before the Presidential Commission investigating political victimization. They were identified as Mangala Samaravira, Patali Champika Ranavika, Rauf Hakim and Sarath Fonseca. They had failed to appear before the Commission today in spite of being issued notices to do so. Chairman of the Commission, Supreme Court Judge Upali Abhay made these remarks upon commencement of hearing from complaints filed by Chief Inspector of Police Tissa Pelapitia and retired Major General of the Sri Lanka Army Palitha Fernando. It has also been pointed out that former Minister Malik Samaravikrama, leader of the Tamil National Alliance R. Sambandhan and Parliamentarian M. A. Sumandiran and Anur Kumar Disanayak refrained from attending sessions of the Commission. The other individuals who had failed to appear before the Commission were former Director General of the Library Commission Dilrukshi Das Vikramasinghe, President's Counsel J.C. Valiamuna, Dr. Jampati Vikramaratne and former Director of Anti-Fraud Committee Anantha Vijayapala. Dilrukshi Das Vikramasinghe had presented a motion requesting 7 days to present facts before the Commission, but the Commission had rejected her appeal.
The Kelaniya Divisional Criminal Investigation Unit has arrested wife and a nephew of the organised criminal Sankar Shiranta, alias Blumendal Sankar, yesterday. More than 10 grams of heroin was found in his possession, was also apprehended. The police has given a chase to a motorcar proceeding from Kandana and stopped the vehicle at Oliyamulla for inspection. A person who was sitting on the driver's seat had fled. Upon searching of a woman who was in the car. 10 grams of heroin and a cash amounting to 60,000 rupees were taken into police custody. After a lengthy interrogation of the woman, it has been revealed that there was a house connected to the heroin racketeering and a Hainamulla apartment housing complex. The police further said that in search operation conducted at the residence, 2 million rupees of cash earned through drug dealings and a further 194,500 rupees in the possession of a woman were detected. In the investigations conducted by the police regarding the wife of the Blumendal Sankar, it has been revealed that around 20 million rupees has been circulated through her bank account. Police have also found out that these monies had been provided during the period Blumendal Sankar incarcerated in prison. Blumendal Sankar, who was released on bail by the judiciary around 2 months ago, is currently hiding. The police says that the female suspect is to be further detained and questioned. The Moratuwa police station has arrested a suspect named Baddegama Kalejon, who is connected in several crimes in Lunava today. The police have revealed that the suspect has stayed in Angulana for around 8 years. He was also reported to have been engaged in hired work in the daytime and engaged in robberies other than criminal acts at night. The Munragala Divisional Criminal Investigation Unit has arrested a person with a stock of cannabis in the raid conducted at Siamalandu, a 4th post. The police says that the suspect who came from Kalathura was engaged in cannabis racketeering in the area.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the same time. Stay safe. Good night.